Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Steve. My name is Chantel Grayston Clairmont, and I have been clean and sober for just about 6 years now. My life has been interesting, to say the least. It has had its ups and many downs. It's had its drama, depression, destruction, and darkness. But it has also been a life that has helped to mold me into the strong, compassionate, goal-driven, independent woman I am today. I was born in Hamilton, Ontario, into a lower-class family by two very young parents who came with their own stories of struggle. When I was around the age of 7, my life changed dramatically. I was sexually abused. I didn't really understand what had happened to me. And what I really didn't understand was why my parents weren't talking to me about it, or why it wasn't being dealt with. Actually, to me, it felt like it was trying to be kept a secret that was trying to be buried away, hidden, forgotten, except for inside my mind, my body. My parents didn't ask me if I was okay. We didn't talk about it. No one comforted me, held me, protected me. I felt lost and alone, scared and angry. A lot of emotions for a child to digest all on their own. I didn't understand any of it, and most certainly, I didn't understand what was going on. Didn't understand what was going on inside of my own mind. This was around the time that I stepped out of my childhood and left my bits of innocence behind. I had been pushed into the world around me, alone, and I was only 7. I was about to take the first steps onto my new path, a path of destruction, depression, misunderstanding, and darkness. A path that I was about to be stranded on for years to come. Everything in my life started to change. The way I acted with my family, my friends, my surroundings, the thoughts that lingered in my head, the way I felt about myself, and the way I saw the world. I lost my focus on school and anything childlike. On the outside, I was still just a little girl. But on the inside, I was dealing with thoughts and feelings years past my age. I started to become this angry, bitter little girl. I remember the nightmares and the fear and the falling apart of myself inside. I hated my parents for not responding to what had happened. I didn't respect them, nor did I ever feel the sense of closeness with them. Our non-existing relationship was only about to get worse over the years. And I remember the first time I smoked my first joint. I wasn't even in the 6th grade. I was just a kid that should have been off building a tree fort, getting dirty, or riding my bike with my friends. But instead, I was looking for a way to numb my pain, my thoughts, and feelings, looking for a new place where I could just lock it all away. I remember how amazing it all felt. I remember all my thoughts stopping. I remember the warmth and the laughter and the happiness that filled me up. It was a feeling that I so longed to feel, and I didn't want to let go. By the time I had entered middle school, pop and chip parties were no more. With parties plentiful with alcohol, acid, and mushrooms, it was just another world I could enter to feel good inside and slip away from the pain that I felt. I wanted nothing more than to feel wanted, loved, and smoking pot had just become part of my everyday habits by this time. Not only was it a way to numb myself, but it made it easy for me to belong to something, to fit in. Over the years, things only seemed to get worse at home. My parents were never really the talking type, the communicating type. We yelled in my house. That's how we talked. That's how we communicated. A slap or two, a push or a shove. And my father, well, he was the worst of it all. So famous for saying such mean and hurtful things to me, things that stuck by my side and in my mind for many years after. I remember always being afraid to come home with bad news or something that would disappoint them, so instead I lied to them and kept things from them. I couldn't handle their reactions or the way that they dealt with things. They just always left me feeling worse about myself. And when I started high school, things just didn't seem to matter to me. I had no goals, no dreams, or even a thought of who I was or what I wanted to be. I just wanted to get high and have fun. It seemed this was the only time that I felt good about myself or touched on happiness. I practically never went to school, and when I did, it was for all the wrong reasons. I had this giant chip on my shoulder, and I remember thinking that the world owed me something. When was my life going to change? When was it all going to get better? I remember the anger inside of me. I was always angry at everything and anything. And I'm not sure when it all really started, but along came a day when I was introduced to the chemical world. I was hooked from the moment that the euphoric feeling took over my body, my mind, my soul. They picked me up when I was down, and they brought me up, way up. They numbed my world around me and brought me that feeling of warmth and happiness that I so craved to have. They delivered much more than pot ever did, and it took all but a few weeks before I was kicked out of my home, dropped out of school, and on the streets, with nowhere to go. I started sleeping wherever I could and handled my stress by getting high, extremely high. I hated this world that left me feeling so lost and alone. And yet again, the only thing that seemed to numb the feeling of the hate and the anger, the lost and the loneliness, was getting high. I was now taking any drugs I could get my hands on, and if I could, I was high all day, every day. All I wanted was to hold on to that feeling of warmth and happiness and keep my pain numb. When I was around the age of 18, I started living in and out of Toronto and all across Ontario. I was going to raves and underground parties. I started selling drugs to support my habits, and I would stay wherever I could. Sometimes I had a place to call my own. Sometimes I had nothing at all. I started doing crystal meth, and let me tell you, she never let me down. In fact, she always kept me going, for days and days. Sometimes I even think weeks. I even remember locking myself in my bathroom, sitting in the bathtub with the door locked, sketched out of my mind, not able to handle the outside world. And I lost a lot of things during this period of my life. I lost any real friends, my sanity, my life, my soul. I was on nothing more than a path of destruction, but I didn't see it that way. I was seeking happiness and fulfillment and a way to numb my pain. And I have seen so many things during this period of my life that will forever be imprinted in my mind. I've seen friends overdose. I myself have overdosed. I have seen violence, abuse, crime, guns, drugs, destruction, and darkness. I'm not sure where I was supposed to find happiness and fulfillment in all of that, but at the time, I thought I would. And now that I look back on everything, I see just how fake and unreal my life really was, just how full of lies and destruction I filled it with, just how much more damage I caused than happiness I delivered. I had nothing real in my life. My drug-addicted friends didn't care about me the way I cared about them. My love for them was real, but we were all just addicts preying off of each other for survival. There was no truth to anything except our drug use. And one day, after getting high with a friend in the bathroom with the door locked, hiding out from the outside world, I stood up and looked in the mirror that hung in front of me, only to see that I hated everything that I was looking at. I looked so pale, so sick and gross. I saw emptiness and loneliness. I saw hate and anger. I saw confusion and paranoia. I had looked in this mirror so many times before, but never did I see this girl. I saw nothing that I wanted. What I really wanted was to be a person with hopes, dreams, and goals. A person with good people in my life and surrounding my life. People who cared about me the way I cared about them. I wanted to be someone I was proud of, not ashamed of. I wanted to be happy on the inside and the outside. And it's funny that I had spent all these years thinking I was happy until the effects of the drugs wore off and I realized the truth. The truth? That I wasn't happy. I was never truly going to be happy living the life that I was. All the years that I had spent being an addict, I missed so much. I missed watching my young brothers grow into young men. I missed being a part of my family. I missed holidays and precious time. I missed the chance to have hopes and dreams. I missed a lot of things, and I wasn't willing to miss them anymore. I was sick of the lies and destruction and the darkness that followed my addictions. I was always looking for happiness, But happiness is what you make it. Your life is what you make it. I literally had to start my life over again. It was like being reborn, starting from the bottom and working my way up. It took me years just to get off the drugs, and I would slip up here and there, but I did it. I had to throw away my old life in order to start my new one, and nothing I did to get where I am today has been easy. But I knew that there was a life out there that I deserved to have, and I was determined to find it and to build it. It has taken me 6 years to get from a broken down, lost, drug-addicted kid to the strong young woman I am today. It has taken me 6 years to love myself, to figure out who I am, what I want to be, and to have hopes, dreams, and goals. It has taken me almost 6 years to get my family back in my life and to feel like my life is headed in a positive direction. I am still learning, as I always will, as we never stop learning in life. I am proud of who I am and what I believe in. I am thankful for the life I have now. And when life beats me up or breaks me down, I just remind myself how far I've come. I remind myself of the amazing people in my life that love and support me, and just how good it feels to feel the real in my life. I moved to London in 2009, broken-hearted and feeling like my life was in a standstill. Two very good friends of mine, who I consider to be older sisters, positive role models, and two very amazing women who I look up to very much, picked me up when I was down. They believed in me, and I love them for that. They saw so much in me that at the time I wasn't seeing. They told me about YOU and all the wonderful things they did, and how this could be the beginning of a positive journey, and how right they were. Today, through the help of YOU, I have earned my general education diploma, which I never thought I would get, and a number of other certificates. I had the opportunity to be a youth mentor in the kitchen. I have confidence and strength, and I know what direction I'm taking my life in. They helped me feel what it's like to accomplish something and feel proud of who I am. I wanted to help myself and make change in my life, and YOU and my two big sisters helped me do just that. YOU helped me take those few extra steps that I needed in my life, and now I'm ready to take on the world. I volunteer with YOU. I go out into our community to educate and share my story, to break down stereotypes and remind people. We all have stories, different stories. Stories of struggle, stories of sadness, stories of darkness and destruction. And some of us, we have stories of change, positivity, strength. But regardless, we all have a story. I love volunteering and giving back to a community that gave so much to me. And I love living here in London. For the first time, I feel like I'm home. I live in the beautiful Wortley Village with my two adorable cats. I'm in an amazing relationship and very much in love. And what are my next steps? I'm just starting to take the steps I need to further my education. I dream of becoming a police officer or part of the RCMP. So now it's time to make a dream come true. Thank you very much for joining us today, for listening to our stories, and for supporting YOU. Thank you.